Eric Davis, watching from Wilmington. Eric, your station there, WECT. We were just talking to Rob about the possibility, if you buy in on the NAM solution, that this might spend more time over the water and make landfall closer to you guys. I guess I'm curious to know, in your personal forecast, where do you put those odds, and what changes would there be to the impacts one way or the other?
Well, you certainly can't write off the possibility. I would probably favor the South Carolina solution. That seems to be more where the Hurricane Center is going, so I tend to believe in them a little bit more. But again, you can't completely write off that scenario. And of course, earlier today, our coastline was put under a tropical storm warning. So basically, from Surf City southward, now tropical storm warning in effect. So there is at least a possibility we could see a little more wind, a little more surge than what we were anticipating. No doubt that is certainly on the table potentially. But I still think the primary impact that we're going to have to worry about here in southeastern North Carolina with this system, especially the track from the Hurricane Center, is probably going to be heavy rain. I think that's going to be a given. We're probably looking on average, most spots, 3-5 inches of rain. Some areas will probably, isolated areas will pick up a little bit more. So I'm most concerned about the flooding aspect with this system, and also being on the east side of the storm. We're going to have to watch out for the possibility, especially if we get a little bit of instability in here. We're going to have to worry about the possibility of those rotating thunderstorms, a tornado threat, something we can't really write off since we're going to most likely be on the east side of this particular storm.
I'm wondering from a local perspective, Eric, like we know Charleston is infamous for flooding its downtown. What local knowledge, what are you watching most carefully that in your hometown here could be the problem spot?
Obviously, when you're talking about flooding here in Wilmington, News Center Drive is always a potential area. Carolina Beach, another area that tends to be real prone to flooding. So those will be some of probably the first areas I'll be watching just from working here a very long time. And I think flooding is the primary thing. We certainly can't write off some of the other impacts, but I think it's really water and flooding is primarily what I'm going to be watching for with this particular system. Obviously, we'll have to keep our eye. Obviously, this storm has had a history of some surprises. Obviously, as mentioned, it did ramp up. I remember it was 120 mile per hour at 11 o'clock last night, and I get up this morning and holy moly, it's 155 mile per hour right on the edge of Category 5. So again, you certainly can't write off a few curveballs with this one. There's no doubt about that.
Going to bring in Scotty Powell, Carolina Weather Group panelist in the foothills of North Carolina. Scotty.
Yeah, Eric, you were talking about earlier, last night in the Wilmington area, was watching it, but looked like a track more inland. But now you're kind of on that dirty side, we say. And we know Wilmington down to the Myrtle Beach area is kind of infamous for these tropical tornadoes that sometimes spin up. Looks like with the stalled front, you guys are a little bit more in the warm, moist, unstable area than, say, back into Charlotte, back into Raleigh.
Exactly.
So that's a concern, and it looks like it could be an overnight concern. So not only do we have tropical tornadoes, but they could be occurring at night. That's what that could be concerning.
Yeah, one of our in-house models actually showed even the potential of a little bit of that warmer air getting in even in the afternoon hours. I think the window may open up in the afternoon potentially, even for a few rotating thunderstorms, and as you said, likely continuing into the evening hours. On the plus side, one thing we tend to do here at WECT and the First Alert Weather Team is we try to highlight First Alert action days. That kind of allows our viewers to really get a sense of where the worst the weather is. Right now, we've highlighted both Friday and Saturday as First Alert action days. I have to say we're kind of going to have to revisit maybe Saturday tomorrow, because maybe some of the worst of the impacts are probably going to be winding down as we head into Saturday morning, especially if we see that track more into South Carolina, which is what the Hurricane Center is thinking. But no doubt about it, Friday, absolutely First Alert action day. We've got high rain chances, lots of precipitation, and of course that tornado risk, as you said, because we are on that east side most likely.
Yeah, you mentioned Saturday. Saturday latest models kind of showing that things could kind of clear up down your way. So looks like Friday definitely could be that one day to watch. But as if anybody has any plans to be into the Wilmington area, Saturday and Sunday, it may not be as bad as once thought.
True, but of course, obviously, the ocean is not going to be your friend. Obviously, I think we're going to have to encourage people again, stay out of the ocean. Rip current risk is likely to continue to be elevated. There is going to be some high storm, and we may see, depending on the track, it's not impossible to have a little bit of storm surge. I don't think it's going to be as much of a problem, most likely, compared to South Carolina, unless it takes that, as you said, that unlikely track to the north. But right now, Hurricane Center is not buying it. I mean, again, we're going to keep that in the back of our mind, but we don't think that is the most likely scenario at this point.
That sounds good. Well, Eric, how can folks follow you in the Wilmington area, social media and on TV?
Yeah, of course, I've got my Twitter account, Eric Davis, WECT. You can also follow me, Facebook meteorologist, Eric Davis. You can also follow our other meteorologists. We've got Chief Meteorologist Gannon Medwick. Follow him on Twitter. We've got Gabe Ross and, of course, Claire Fry. I encourage you to follow all of us. And, of course, you can join us. I think we were talking about the TV. We'll be on WECT News at 11. And we also have the Fox affiliate, WSFX, or Fox Wilmington, will be on with the newscast at 10 o'clock. So we encourage you to get an update there as well.
Well, thank you, Eric, for your time. We wish you guys all the best down there in Wilmington, and stay dry. And hopefully next time we talk, it's under some better circumstances.
At least it's not the worst right now, but yes.
That's right. Thank you, Eric. Have a great evening.
You too.